Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we are going to continue working on that little gear, that straight cut gear we were making, and now we're going to add a shaft to it and a keyway. So last time, let's bring it open here. So if you look over left in your browser, here's our gear. Let's just get this to pop open here. So it's the gear we're making. We're going to have it so we put the shaft through and a key into it so that it doesn't spin on the shaft. Now what Inventor has over Fusion is Inventor has actual assemblies where you create an assembly from a number of files and put them all together. Fusion doesn't really have that. They kind of link files in. So I'm going to show you how I've kind of come to create assemblies in Fusion. So I'm going to keep this open here. We're not going to do it in this one. I am going to go hit the plus sign right over here where it says new design. I'm then going to, let's just save that design. Let's call it gear assembly, like that. And once that's all good, I'm going to go back over here where it says my gear or practice gear. I'm going to right click and I'm going to insert into current design. And there it is. Now you'll notice that I can put it any way I want. That looks fine. I don't see anything that I need to change with that. Great. Okay, that's in. Now, if you look over here on the left, I have my gear assembly, and then there's the practice gear right there, and pretty much good to go from that. So what we're going to do is we'll add the shaft first. So I will go over here, so I'm going to make sure it's highlighted. I'm going to go up onto the top and go new component. I'm going to add that in. So it tells me new component, empty component. We'll call that shaft. There we go. Parent. So it's selected right here, activate, okay, good. So now it goes great because we're gonna be creating that shaft on here. So I'm gonna click, so it's a little tough to see with this grayed out, but you can see how like I can click and you get like that edge and there we go, right there. That's where I'm gonna start it from. You don't have to, but it just makes it easier because we know the shaft is gonna move through that gear. So let's click on that face, start sketch. Now, one of the things I like to use is P or project geometry. So if you hit, so you can actually do it up in create and you'll see project, right, or P. So what this does is it takes something from a previous sketch like this and brings it forward so that we can see it or puts it into the current view. So I hit P and I'm going to click that. All right, then I'm going to come in with my circle because now that points in, click. Now we're just going to say this shaft. We're not going to worry about tolerances or anything like that that we could. We're just going to click and put it in there. Now we're going to finish the sketch. Hit shift. Let's rotate around a little bit. I'm going to do it a simple extrusion. Click that surface and we'll pull it back. The dimension for this doesn't matter. Right? All I'm doing here is making a shaft. Hit OK. So now that shaft is there. So we've used this right here to help us get that. Now we're going to add the keyway into it. All right, so now we have that shaft. We're going to create the keyway that goes into it. I'm going to hit create sketch, create it right on there. Hit P. Let's highlight some of this stuff here, here, here. So that's all now. Then you come over, hit OK. I'm just going to go 2-point rectangle. I'm going to start here in this corner, come down that way. So notice that I can get it. If I click there, now, where I didn't even click, just hovered over it, I have that 0.125. I'm going to go 0.125 again for that direction. Hit enter. Finish sketch there. Rotate it. Extrude. All right, now this is an extrude cut. So I'm going to come over here. Let's pull this back a distance. All right, and we need to go just far enough. That looks good to me, and it's a cut. Good. So now we have the keyway. Let's just do a couple of things to this. Let's do like a chamfer to the edge of it. I'm going to click. Let's click this edge right here. Let's go 0.05. That looks good. I'm going to go 0.025, a little less. Let's go to the back. Let's do the same thing. Okay. Modify, chamfer. Let's go 0.025. There we go. So a slight chamfer on it, just so that, I don't know, looks a little bit better. So that the shaft is made. All right, so shaft's there, all good. All right, nothing there. Now let's make the keyway all in this assembly. Highlight this, up on top, activate it. So I click, that activates the whole assembly. Notice this, all right, there we go. It's all on. Notice they're not joined yet. We'll worry about that in a moment. Okay, then we're gonna go new component, like that. We will call this key. Enter. We'll create that right there. Okay, so key is created. Let's start a sketch, create sketch, right here on that surface. Now some components move because right, we move things once we started it. We'll hit continue. It's gonna recenter everything back in. Now we just need to create a key that goes in here. We can use project geometry again. So click, like this, move our way around. Click, okay. That should be a closed loop, no problems. We'll find out. Finish sketch, extrude. There it is. Right. And this, we can actually do an extrude too. Distance, we can do it to the back of the gear. So we go direction, like this, profile plane. Distance, we can do 2. And we come back around. And we can select that back face. There you go. You can make it a little bit more longer if you want, but that looks good to me. Hit OK. And it takes a second. Now the key is done. All right, so we have the key, the shaft, and everything all done within this assembly. Pretty straightforward. Notice that that comes out. All right, I recommend saving it at this point. If user saved, good. Now we're going to constrain these. All right, so in Inventor, we use constraints and mates to kind of get everything together. Here, they use joints. I'm still a little new at using joints. I'm very used to how everything constrains in Inventor, but basically there's 6 degrees of freedom, right? You have your X, Y, Z and rotation around those X, Y, Z axes. So those are your 6 degrees of freedom. And basically you're trying to find a way of locking them all into place so that it moves in the way you want. So the first thing we'll do, let's get the shaft locked in with this. So we go to joint. Okay, some components move, same thing, right? Because we move them. So this is the way we want it assembled. All right, so we're going to do a simple joint. We're going to lock this, right? So if we go to set location on component move, so click that. So that's component 1. Component 2, all right, we're going to select. So we should be able to click that. All right, notice it gets that movement. We want nothing to move. Hit OK. Okay, so now, if we hit escape, that, all right, notice now those two move together, no rotations, nothing like that. They are rigidly joined together. We're going to do the same with the keyway. Okay, so now we hit joint, so click that, continue, select one, select like that top right there, good, select 2. All right, so notice it moved like that. It flipped. Come over to here, hit flip. All right, so notice like that, like that. So I selected those 2 edges that were there, hit OK. Now, notice everything stays together. There's no rotation. We didn't add a rotation in for anything like that. I also didn't ground anything, which you should really do. So if we go over to this, I'm going to ground the actual shaft here. So I'm going to click on it, right click, and let's see, I can't do it in here. I'm going to go to the shaft here. Let's activate that component, right click, and let's go to ground. There we go, continue. So now nothing is going to move. So that's all locked together. That is a assembly with a fully constrained, let's activate that. There we go. With everything constrained. Notice when you zoom in, you can see these are where those joints are. And that is pretty much it. You got the keyway coming through. Everything's good to go. That's how you create a real basic assembly inside here. You can see what's linked or not. And that's it. You can even see what's grounded over there. Okay, back on the timeline over here, it shows what you did when, and that is it. So we have just made you've just made a small assembly using a gear and shaft. And if you want to go in and change the properties of that, you're more than welcome to. All right, next time, we'll basically create a little drawing of some of these parts so that you could technically send it out. And that's it. All right, I hope you liked it. Take care. Bye.